Red Zone weather in Brewton, Alabama, with meteorologist Spinks Megginson. A severe weather update starts right now.
A dangerous severe weather setup coming into the deep south on Saturday into Saturday night, when we may have a few strong tornadoes across parts of Alabama and Mississippi specifically. Hope you're having a nice Thursday. We do have a dangerous weather event on the way as we get into the weekend. And we've got all the details for you on this Thursday evening. This is the latest convective outlook from our friends at the Storm Prediction Center, showing we now have a level 4 out of 5 severe weather risk in place from Louisiana through Mississippi into parts of Alabama and a small part of northwest Florida as well. And so we're looking at a potentially significant severe weather risk as we get into Saturday and Saturday night. First thing we need to talk about, we did have some storms today, and a few of those storms are actually still in progress over to our east in parts of the Wiregrass region. A low-end severe weather risk happened earlier, but storms has, for the most part, now faded. Still got a few on the board this evening, but storms will continue to fade to our east over the next few hours. Tomorrow, this is valid for Friday, we find a level 4 out of 5 severe weather risk driven by the potential for damaging straight-line winds across parts of Missouri and Illinois. There also may be a few tornadoes up here involved with this as well. Here's the southern end of that risk on Friday. So this is valid tomorrow, basically tomorrow through 6 a.m. on Saturday. And you see we have a level 3 out of 5 enhanced risk for parts of North Mississippi, much of North Alabama, with the surrounding level 2 risk going all the way down to Oak Hill, Grove Hill, and areas near Chatham. And so that does include a small part of our local area. The big event, though, going to likely be on Saturday, specifically Saturday into Saturday night, when we may have a few strong, potentially intense EF3 plus tornadoes involved with this. And we do have a big chunk of Alabama involved in this level 4 risk that extends all the way from Huntsville and areas near Muscle Shoals back down to places like Andalusia, Brewton, Mobile, and Spanish Fort, involved in the level 4 out of 5 risk. Here's the local view. And before we talk about this, let me just stress, it does not matter whether you're in the red zone or the orange zone. We all have a substantial severe weather risk setting up as we get into Saturday and Saturday night. But clearly the greater risk of a few intense tornadoes that could be long track tornadoes going to happen back here in parts of West Alabama. Mobile, areas near Wilmer, Citronelle, Mount Vernon, Bay Minette, Atmore, Porch, Flomaton, Brewton, Walnut Hill, Century, Evergreen, Repton, Monroeville, areas near Thomasville, back down to Grove Hill, Jackson, Chatham, Leroy. You've also got Milry, Gilbertown, areas near Camden, Sweetwater, back over to Greenville and Georgiana, involved in the level 4 out of 5 severe weather risk valid for Saturday. And yes, there could be a few strong, potentially intense tornadoes being possible. And some of those tornadoes may be down on the ground for quite some time. And so it is just critical that you have a way to hear urgent weather warnings as we get into the weekend. You need something to wake you up, as some of these storms may happen as early as tomorrow night into early Saturday morning. In fact, here's a look at timing. And we're going to look at the projected radar in just a minute and kind of break this down. But specifically this zone, in other words, from this purple line back to the west, is the area that I'm most concerned about. And the reason for that is we could have multiple rounds of strong to severe storms specifically from this line and back to the west. Again, that includes places like Thomasville, Jackson, Grove Hill, Fulton, Monroeville, Mexie, Purdue Hill, Gilbertown, Coffeyville, Cullenberg, and areas near Chatham. So those are the communities in West Alabama that I'm most concerned about with this event, and it's because we may have one round of storms tomorrow night into early Saturday, and then the big event would happen Saturday p.m. So that's round one, exclusive to West Alabama. And you'll see that in just a minute on the projected radar. For most of us across the region, this is still going to be a deal that lasts from noon Saturday to 3 a.m. on Sunday. And you see that we've adjusted the timing just to be a little bit more clear about the zones here. But 2 p.m. Saturday to 4 a.m. Sunday for a big chunk of south central Alabama back down to coastal Alabama and northwest Florida involved in that zone. And storms will continue moving to the south and east, ending up in places like Panama City, Bainbridge, Georgia, back over into Tallahassee from 10 p.m. on Saturday night to early Sunday morning. By the way, I do think that the daytime hours of Sunday should be dry. Let's look at how the event may happen. And this starts on Friday. So we're looking now at 9 p.m. tomorrow night, on Friday night. You got showers developing across South Alabama. There are some storms firing at that point, if this particular model happens to be right, across parts of southeast Mississippi, extending back into Louisiana. And then this is what we're concerned about in round one of two of the storms. You could have supercells firing as early as midnight, early Saturday morning. And some of these storms will likely move into West Alabama. And keep in mind, with a look like this, these could be producing tornadoes, maybe even some tornadoes that are down on the ground for a while. So I think the greater concern is going to end up being Saturday during the daytime hours, extending into the evening hours. But I can't rule out a few tornadoes tomorrow night into early Saturday back here across West Alabama. And this would be the main event coming in on Saturday afternoon into the evening hours. Big batch of supercell storms moving to the east toward our area. And so we're most concerned with the first round developing over West Alabama and East Mississippi. This general zone right in through here, you see the supercells firing there. And it's not a good look to see these all by themselves like that. When you get these storms alone and by themselves, they tend to start misbehaving and potentially producing some tornadoes that can last a while. Line of supercells is a situation where sometimes you can see that kind of morph into a squall line, and that's when the damaging wind threat would go up. But that's just a suspicious look. And this is, we're getting our first look on the high-resolution convective allowing models, and this batch of storms will end up in central Alabama early Saturday morning in places like Demopolis over to Montgomery, Selma, back up to Birmingham and Tuscaloosa. That would be round one for central Alabama. And here's the main deal coming in on Saturday in the middle part of the day between noon and 3 p.m. first back here across West Alabama and progressively moving from west to east across our region. So multiple rounds of storms for West Alabama locally, and then the main deal, the main event coming through during the daytime hours of Saturday, extending into Saturday night. And I will say that, we get a lot of folks asking, well, I'm not in this red zone, so I'm fine, right? No, that is not the way this works. When you see a map like this is the zone that's expecting the greater impacts. But nearly always in a situation like this, I mean, we're talking 95+%, you'll get some storms in the lower risk levels. So I can just about guarantee if you are in this orange zone, you're going to have storms around, most likely at some point through this event. Again, the highest risk right now is a level 4 risk. Several questions over the last few hours in my inbox is, will we get a level 5 risk? I would tell you that it's possible. It's not out of the realm of possibilities. And again, even if you're not in a level 5, level 4 risk, you're still in a risk. So have a way to hear warnings as we get into Saturday, even tomorrow night. You got to have a way to hear warnings. And I will say, in this level 4 risk, there is a zone where we're seeing more activity in terms of the potential for intense tornadoes. In other words, the parameters are coming together that could support a few long-track, significant tornadoes. And this is just an academic thing at this point, but if the Storm Prediction Center decides to issue a level 5 risk, it probably would end up being in this zone. and that includes a big chunk of West Alabama, Washington, Clark, Monroe counties locally, back up into West Central Alabama, Pickens, Tuscaloosa, Bibb, Perry, Dallas, Marengo, Hale, Greene, Sumter, and Choctaw. All those counties in West Alabama are the ones I'm most concerned about, where the potential for EF3 plus tornadoes may end up being a bit higher. Same thing back here in East Mississippi. You got Meridian back down to Hattiesburg. This is Interstate 59. Back down to areas near Loosedale, Leakesville, and Waynesboro. Could have the biggest issues as we get into Saturday during the daytime hours extending into the evening. So this is going to be a tornado-driven event. Significant tornadoes being possible. Some may be on the ground for quite some time. Level 4 risk as of now. We're also concerned about the potential for damaging straight line winds in some of these storms, along with large hail. You get some of these supercells forming in the middle part of the day on Saturday, so you may have golf ball size hail. That is a possibility. We're also concerned about power outages. You get, several tornadoes going on across, say, a regional outbreak of tornadoes. That can cause major issues for our power companies and electric co-ops. So what that means is you got to have a way to hear warnings, so charge those devices tomorrow evening before the severe weather risk takes a turn for the worst. Power outages possible. Obviously, storm's going to have a good bit of lightning as well. Now, I have had more hate mail in my career from folks in the business world who are affiliated with the mobile home lobby. That's just a fact. And, I want to stress, I'm not against mobile homes. Mobile homes are a great, affordable form of housing. So I'm not against mobile homes, but what I am against is folks being in mobile homes during big severe weather events like what we could have on Saturday. Saturday does have the makings of a higher end severe weather event. And you can't be in a mobile home. You just can't. If you've got an EF2 plus tornado headed towards your house and you're in a mobile home, you got major problems. And that tornado could cause loss of life, just to put it frankly. So we don't want that to happen to anyone. So if you're in a mobile home, it's best if you can stay with a friend or family member in a site-built structure as we get into Saturday and Saturday night. So no mobile homes and no cars. You can't be driving in a tornado warning on Saturday when we probably will get a few warnings. And by the way, some of you may be watching our coverage for the first time tonight. And if that's the case, I would encourage you take a screenshot of this specific screen so you'll have your checklist and know what to do when we have tornado warnings on Saturday or any other time for that matter. This is what you do. You get to the lowest floor of a site-built structure away from windows and doors, putting as many walls as you can between you and the outside world. If you can get underground, like in a basement or a storm shelter, that's great. But you do not have to be in a storm shelter or a basement to survive a tornado. The best possible thing that you can do to prepare ahead of this event is to get a tornado helmet. Make a plan. If you don't have a helmet, you can use a cooking pot. And I know that sounds funny, you may laugh, but the research shows time and time again, even in folks that aren't in the most ideal spot in a tornado, if you can protect your head, that greatly increases your chance of surviving a tornado. And obviously have a way to hear warnings. Our Red Zone Weather app is great for our local area, but if you're not in our area, you need something like a weather radio. And a weather radio is great for us all as well. Here's your next 7 days, by the way. Strong storms possible, severe storms likely, as a matter of fact, on Saturday, potentially as early as Friday night. The first round across West Alabama, middle part of the day into the evening and overnight hours on Saturday night into early Sunday. And so severe storms likely at times Saturday, including the potential for long track tornadoes. Mostly sunny on Sunday, and early next week looks quite nice. Highs set to be in the 70s, plenty of sunshine on Monday and Tuesday. So, a level 4 out of 5 severe weather risk this evening. This happens about once or twice per year in terms of getting a level 4 out of 5 risk for parts of our local area over the last few years. You may be wondering if we get a high risk. Again, this is more of an academic discussion. The colors and numbers don't matter once these storms start firing, but if we get one, when was the last time we had one? We had a high risk back in March of 2021 for the northern part of our area. Last time we had one for the whole region was back in 2007. So that just goes to show how rare the level 5 out of 5 severe weather risk is. Level 4 is a very big deal. So we encourage everyone to have a good, reliable way, multiple ways, to hear warnings ahead of this event as we get into the weekend. I will have plenty of updates posted in the Red Zone Weather app over the next few days, and I will have another detailed video posted by 7:15 a.m. tomorrow morning with the very latest on not only the convective outlook, but what we're expecting for Friday night into Saturday, and really into Saturday night as well. This is going to be a long duration event, multiple rounds. You got to have a way to hear warnings. So 7:15 a.m. next video, updates tomorrow throughout the day in the Red Zone Weather app. Let me know if you have specific questions in the comments below, and I'll try to get to those in just a little bit. On behalf of all of us at Red Zone Group LLC, I'm meteorologist Spinks Megginson saying goodbye for now. Hope you have a nice Thursday evening, and please stay safe this weekend.
Be sure to find us across social media, and don't forget to download the free Red Zone Weather app and set up your customized alerts. Please support our Red Zone Weather sponsors who make our coverage possible every single day.